Hello. I looked so fucking pale.
Hi.
God. Okay.
Oh, we switched sides. We're on different sides this time.
Anyway, this is the Simplicity channel, TEA. Yeah, if you, God, I'm forgetting everything. If you've been here before, you know how this goes. If you haven't been here before, hello.
Hi.
I'm sure you're wonderful.
Welcome.
Welcome. We talk about things on the internet nobody else wants to talk about. And I mean clearly nobody else wants to talk about. If you haven't seen our past videos, you're in for a time.
Yeah, this one might not also make a whole lot of sense if you haven't seen our last episode.
If you haven't seen our past episode, you might want to just watch that one for context about this one, because this is a 4-part series we're in the middle of. We're on part 2 today, so you haven't missed a lot. The first one is about 40 minutes, so it might not be enjoyable, but to make sense, I want you guys to understand what's going on. But then again, if you just want to jump into this one, that's fine.
Yep.
So grab your teacups, mugs, bowls, whatever you drink liquid.
Dang it.
Whatever you drink liquid out of, and let's jump in, dive into the tea with us, God.
How many times have we done this? And that's the most chaotic time we've done
We forgot to do it last time.
I know.
Anyway.
Lid. Oh, I found it.
Okay. We're retrieving a lid.
I got it.
Wait a second. Okay. So this is going to be very short. It's only a small paragraph. Okay. From this point on, the next longest of this parts 1 and 4 will be the longest. Parts 2 and 3 are kind of like fillers, kind of.
Yeah.
So.
Also, by the way, as some of you know, if you've watched this channel before, I need to be doing something with my hands in order to concentrate. So if that distracts you, I'm sorry. That's just how I have to do it. But if you're wondering, I'm making a shirt for a present for my friend's birthday. So that's yeah.
Also, 2 more housekeeping things. Number 1, I said I would have the pictures of my caricature and his caricature. I don't have them yet. I will insert them at the beginning of this video right here so you can see the ones I was talking about. Where I look like Ariana Grande with the ponytail and he looks like Justin Bieber. So I'll put that in here. But then...
Shook them so hard.
Then, what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, next episode is going to be put up on Halloween. So we will be wearing Halloween costumes of what we're going to be this year. And no one's going to guess what I am, and I don't need to tell you all. So.
Yeah, if any of you could guess what I'm going to be, that would be really awesome.
Yeah.
Not sure if you will, but
I know.
Fire away if you want.
I know the answer that I'm going to get as what I am is not what I am. So I'd be interested to see if someone comments what they think I am. That I'm not. Anyway, so we're going to jump into dating the Gremlin the second time. Very short again. So this story starts with, we had already been broken up.
Sorry, my window's open. You might hear cars.
No, that car was so small and so loud.
Oh, that's the one that has the annoying, like, muffler shit.
Oh, okay. So, basically, you saw from the last one that we broke up. And it was a mess. He asked me one day if I wanted to come over and talk it out. Which, honestly, it's best to talk things out in person. Because things over text get convoluted all the time.
Yep.
And you never know what someone means over text. So I'm always a proponent.
It's hard to do, like, tone. Unless you I mean, even if you, like, really know the person, sometimes it can be, like, okay. I still wouldn't suggest it. I'm, like, not on the camera. I still wouldn't suggest it, but, like, if you gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
Yeah. I'm always a proponent for talking it out anyway. Like, I've been in a lot of relationships, not trying to brag with that statement. I've just been in a lot, and so I know how easily things can get convoluted and how easily things can get, like,
even
misconstrued.
With friendships, it can happen. Like, it's happened with us.
Yeah, and so it's like, it's just, I always want to talk things out, and my forehead is getting cut off. Okay, now I'm good. And I I said, okay, to go over there. And editing me has, in all caps, why? Because I know how this story ends. Of course, you guys are probably hearing that, and it's like, you just said you want to talk it out. Why would you be upset? You guys don't know how the story ends.
Yeah, you haven't gotten to the bad part of it, but, you know.
Me saying okay at the time was good.
Yeah.
Because take my advice. You do want to talk in person. Okay?
Yeah.
Whether, even if it's just a phone call, that's fine. But, like, you need to hear how you're saying these things.
Also, if you hear another, like, wah, wah noise, that's my washer, just FYI.
I went over there, and he asked for a hug. I gave him a hug because I always give people one last hug. When breaking up, I always tend to... I'm a very empathetic person, so I can feel how you're feeling even if you just walk up to me. So I was going to give him a hug because I could tell he needed that in the moment. And I don't think it's bad to give people one last hug.
I don't think so either. Like, you obviously cared about the person, you know?
Yeah,
it's not
and so it's like one last hug. Unless you're a person that, like, really, really, like, gets attached if you're going to hug somebody, then maybe don't do that.
Yeah, or, like, if you're very, like, if, like, intimacy is, like, a big thing, maybe don't do that.
But for me, like, I hug everybody that I know. So it wasn't really that big of a deal for me. We were catching up on his porch talking about whatever. Again, if you saw from the last video how the friendship started, we talked about everything. Mm-hmm. So we were basically just catching up, talking about how school was for me, how school was for him, yada, yada, yada. If you forget, he's a year younger than me. So I had just started college, and he was in his senior year of high school. Then he asked for a kiss, and I gave him one. Again, there's a cap of why. Don't know. Don't know. In all caps, why? Not, I realize I said that wrong, but like, yeah, why did I give him a kiss? I don't know. At the time, I guess I thought it would have been nice. And some people do that when they're breaking up with people. Some people do like a one last kiss thing. There's so many songs called Last Kiss.
I mean, some people also have sex before they break up, so.
Yeah.
It could have been worse.
So exactly. So, like, you know, but I decided to do that because I'm a very empathetic person. You guys are going to see that's a trend in this relationship. Like, I'm a very empathetic. And it kind of led to my downfall, but we'll get to that later.
At some point.
We did not do much talking because we weren't over each other, so we just made out the whole time.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Don't. Like, if you're not over the person, please don't kiss them.
Yeah,
like, under no circumstances, because literally, that's what happened. I thought I was over him, realized I wasn't over him, and then we just kissed the whole time. And no.
Yeah, that part is usually bad news.
Yeah.
If you like a person, and they, like, call you over, or, like, whatever, like, if you break up, like, or you're, like, friends with benefits or whatever, like, something, and they say, like, I can't do this anymore, or you break up, whatever it is. Sorry, I said short. And you go and you're like, all right, one last time, let's do this, but you know you have feelings for the person. I know it's hard, but, like, maybe be like, I don't think that's such a good idea. Because the earlier you set that boundary with them and yourself, I think that's a big deal.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, all he wanted to do from that point on was make out. Literally nothing else. Literally, that's all he wanted to do. I'm like, oh, let's talk, because we were working on a friendship. And I'm like, let's talk. And he's like, nah, I just want to make out. Like, and it's like, okay, I thought we were actually working on a friendship. At the time, I thought it was a friendship, but I think you see my air quotes now. I know by now. It was not a friendship he wanted.
Yeah, hindsight, no, but, you know.
So, he then talked about a group he wanted to make. Not too important, but still important. So let me give you the TLDR, because this will make sense at the end of the story, like the very last thing I tell you. He wanted to start this meditation martial arts group, and I thought that was good for him. He likes martial arts, and he likes meditating. And I was like, there's no problem with that. You know, he wanted to teach people how to meditate, and he wanted to teach people how to do martial arts to protect themselves. That's not an issue. I don't see a problem with that at all. He made weapons for this group, for the people to use. He added drug dealing into the group. He added so many things into the group. He said that I could, apparently I was already a member, but he said that I could leave if I wanted to. So I thought it was like just his chill thing, because he told that to me at the beginning, before the weapons and the drug dealing. He told me at the beginning that like, hey, this is the group. And I was like, okay, so school started, and I was like, hey, can I like, you know, get out? And he's like, no, there's no leaving. And I'm like, but you just said at the beginning. That's why I call it a cult.
It kind of was like a little mini cult. Who was in it, we still don't know.
Oh, we know. There were people that he met when he went a certain place that I'm not going to say on the internet.
Okay, so we don't know them personally.
There was Cupcake. And
he was in that shit!
And that's how I became friends with Cupcake again, kind of. We reconnected. And then there was another guy, which you're going to hear a story about, which was beginning of the pandemic boy. Starts with a D.
I forgot he existed.
And I'll find out a code name for him when we get to his story. I just thought that should be another topic. Anyway, editing Kayla will write that down.
When you said starts with the D, the first name that came to my head was Drake.
Yeah, no, it's not Drake.
It's not Drake.
It's not Drake. I don't live in Canada, so it's not Drake. It's not Drake. Anyway, so let's go off of that, because this could be a whole different topic itself. So let's get off of that. We got back together after my finals were done for my first semester at college. We just decided to talk it out, and yeah, okay, you guys are gonna say, but he just wanted to make out with you. I think at that point he had probably changed his tune a little bit, and was probably being a little bit more like someone you'd want to date rather than someone who just wanted me for SUL things, because he wasn't asking for SUL things anymore like he was the first time. We were together and it was fun. I will say it was pretty fun. This wasn't toxic, honestly. It was, okay.
At first.
At first, yes. It's always at first with this man. At first, it's not bad. It's always at first.
And that's what happens when they're manipulative.
Yeah. I would not get back together with him unless he was done smoking.
Right, like we talked about in the last episode.
And obviously, I'm going to say again, I do not have a problem with people that smoke. I'm doing a project with people that smoke. Again, I don't care. It's your life. If you want to smoke, you smoke. It's just, I think this will explain it more. I have really bad allergies. Like, really bad allergies. And they were pretty bad before I got COVID, but when I got COVID, like now I cannot breathe if I'm like running for long periods of time. So basically, weed smoke sets off my allergies. And I'm like coughing and I can't breathe and it's really bad and it gives me a really bad headache. So it's like, that's why I was like, I wanted to make sure that my partner, if he was smoking, it would be when I'm not next to him. Like, right. He could go outside and I would stay inside. It'd be that type of thing. So if he did that, it was fine. But he always wanted me with him when he did.
Which is odd, honestly.
Yeah, and then he'd complain if I wasn't with him because then he couldn't. You know. I said, you're done smoking, right? This is a conversation we had. I'm like, you're done smoking, right? He said, yeah. I'm like, okay, great. Like, it was a genuine yeah, too. So I was like, great. Then 3 days later, he was still smoking. Again, obviously, I don't have a problem with people who do. But he was doing the same dumb shit of being stoned off his ass. I'm sorry if you don't like cursing. This channel's probably not the best place for you.
Yeah, this is not for you. Sorry.
But he was still forgetting, not so much forgetting my name and that I was his girlfriend, but he was forgetting things that were very important to me. Like, you know the little things you tell people, and people always say, remember the little things that people tell you? He would forget those.
Kelsey Ballerini has a song called The Little Things, fun fact.
He would forget those.
Yeah.
Every single time. Then I told him he lied to me. Because he did.
Yep.
And I was like, you lied. You told me you weren't anymore, and then here you are being stoned off your ass. That clearly means you still are. I'm not stupid.
Yeah, he likes to think that women are dumb.
The second time I broke up with him is because he lied to me about not quitting smoking. It's hard, and he said he wanted to, but was never putting the effort in. And so you guys are going to yell at me for this, but listen to the next sentence. The literal next sentence I said. I tried to help, and even though he said he wanted to, he didn't accept my help. So I was trying to help him quit because he wanted to. Me and his mom were very big proponents of trying to help him quit. Even I think probably his dad too. We were all trying to help him to quit. He just wasn't accepting our help. And I know people don't. I know that's a thing that happens. But we were at least, I wasn't just like high and dry, I'm breaking up with you even though you're trying. No, I tried to help him. He just wouldn't accept my help. So there's nothing more I could do at that point. If people don't accept your help, there's nothing you can do. It's like you can try and you can try and you can try and you can try, but if they're not ready to help themselves, there's nothing you can do. And if they're not ready to accept your help, there's nothing you can do. That's the sad truth of it. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of people that, you know, I've dealt with people that have dated people that have addictions, and I even have friends that have had addictions, and it's like, you can't help them, one, if they're not ready to get help themselves, and two, you can't help them if they're not going to accept your help. Those are kind of the two things.
Also, while we're talking about addiction, we will be doing a whole episode all about addiction.
Yes, I'm just saying this
is just a general...
Yeah, I'm just saying for this specific story, he wasn't ready to accept my help, and he wasn't ready to get help himself. So I'm just letting you know those two things just in case this is the first video you come across and you might be in that situation right now. Instead of just waiting for that video, there's a little bit of something I can give you right now. Because we are supposed to give advice on these topics, and sometimes we haven't done that. But, you know, I'm remembering it, and I'm getting back into doing that. So that's what that was, the advice part for that. Okay, so this time was worse to break up. And I got the girl from the toxic friendship video, I got her help and other people's help to do it. She was basically always there every time I was breaking up with this guy.
It's really interesting.
She went to the same school that I did. I went to a community college first and then the university. So she was at the community college with me. My guy friends helped. Yeah, I forgot I said his name last time, and that's why I spent the time trying to think of a name for him. My guy friends helped. I'll call him Damien and Braden are going to be their names. Braden I mentioned last time. And these two guys will be very instrumental in Apricot. Very instrumental, but we're not there yet. So yeah, the Apricot one, you might want to have some popcorn. That'll be more of the diving into the tea.
Yeah,
that'll be, yeah. So Damien and Braden. And I remember because the Gremlin called me in Damien's bathroom, and then I broke up with him, the Gremlin, not Damien. I broke up with the Gremlin, and the Gremlin said, "You didn't lie when you said you love me, right?" And went on a whole rant. So I read you the text from the first video because I said it was easy to just put the text all in that one video. And it was easier to put the text all in there. I wasn't lying to you guys. It was. So I put the text all in there, and the second time breaking up was definitely in there because I remember reading the text of, "You didn't lie when you said you love me, right?" So those texts were the second time we broke up. The Damien and Braden were with me when I actually sent the message, and they even wrote some messages too because I just couldn't handle it anymore. So I didn't throw my phone. I tossed my phone.
Don't do that.
I tossed my phone to Braden, and Braden was like, "Here, I'll take care of him." And so I tossed my phone to him, and he would always read the messages to me to make sure I was okay with him sending that, but they were lifesavers in that moment, honestly.
Yeah. I think also, like, this is a good point to bring up now that we're talking about it. I think it's always a good thing if you can as a girl, if you can have guy friends that you trust with things like this. I think that's very helpful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I am just now like starting to add more guy friends to my like roster, I guess, and a broad term. But it's really nice. It's very helpful because you can always be like, "Hey, I don't know what this is happening. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this means." And they can usually be like, "Okay, if I were this guy, this is what I would do."
Yeah.
Like they know how to get to each other's heads, I guess I should say.
So, I'm also going to bring up with that, at this time, let me look at the third just to make sure. Okay. It's this time. This is the time that someone comes into play, and they gave me their phone number if anything happened. My current boyfriend talked to me at the community college one day because he was friends with the girl from the toxic friendship video. He came to the college one day and he listened to me crying and talking about how bad this relationship was, and at this point he had given me his phone number, that if I needed him to intimidate the Gremlin, or I needed him to just give me advice, or I needed him to help me break up with him, or I needed him to be there with me physically, or I needed him to be there for me, he gave me his phone number so he could do any of those things. So that's how I got closer with now my current boyfriend. So this relationship pushed me into my current boyfriend's arms. Eventually.
Yeah, it took a little while, but it happened.
And also, this current boyfriend at the time was telling me to break up with him constantly. Not him, the Gremlin. Wow, there are a lot of hims. I'm sorry. I can't say names because that's not what we do here. Anyway. Yeah, and so I was talking about writing the messages. We got to 10 months. So the reason why I'm saying that, because this was a short relationship, we had been dating for 6 months the first time we dated, and we just continued with the count because we got together so close after we had broken up the first time. So we just decided to keep counting. So we got to 10 months putting both of those together. I agreed with continuing the count because it was just like, we'd already dated before. Why would we not continue? The relationship was getting toxic and we both couldn't see it, but it was. It was. He is very good at lying. Very good at making you believe things that aren't real. Very good at manipulating.
Manipulating.
He is very, I hate to say this because I know people won't believe with me because they didn't see it, but he's very charismatic. He can make people like him by meeting them the first time. Like, I know Tori and Kelly liked him meeting him the first time. That's my sister and her.
Hi.
If you didn't know, we didn't say our names at the beginning. Whoops.
Sorry.
But anyway, that's Tori. And
Hi.
Kelly's my sister who's sometimes in the background, but she's at work right now, so. But yeah, so those are the things. So he was very charismatic and he got a lot of people to like him. He had friends.
Yeah, he was good at putting on a front for sure.
Yeah. And I think he's had girlfriends after me too. I think this is when he wouldn't stop calling me. I don't think, I know, because I remember it was 2019. We were going to the Jonas Brothers. The only reason I remember this specific story is because my sister's friend, who doesn't want to be on the internet at all, my sister's friend, she taught me how to, I had just gotten an iPhone. I had never had one before. I had an Android before I got my first iPhone. This isn't even my first iPhone. This is my second. My first iPhone I had, and I didn't know how to hang up calls without picking them up. So she taught me how to do it. I now know how to do it, obviously, but she taught me how to do it. Because every hour of every day, FaceTime, 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 FaceTime. I wish I had the call log for you guys. I literally thought I screenshotted it in pieces. Maybe I did, because I remember seeing this picture. Maybe it's somewhere and I just haven't found it. I'll look through all my files and try to find it for you guys if I do have it. And if I do find it, I'll put it in here. But it was, my whole call log was just filled with his name and FaceTime under it. Every single hour of every single day, he was just nonstop FaceTiming me. And I wanted nothing to do with this man. And that is the end of part 2. That's it. That's the end of part 2. But yeah. So that was the second time. If you made it to the end, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here, guys.
Yeah, like, these stories are very hard for me to tell, and I know the last one is going to be very emotional. We might have to have a tissue box, at least for me.
Yeah, we might.
And we're gonna have to try to keep our anger in check. I'm mostly looking at you for that, because she gets very angry, but my sister gets very angry too.
Yeah, we both do. It's, yeah.
So yeah, so just make sure. Also, that last part is triggering. This part's not triggering at all.
This part is just like background information.
I don't think there was anything in here that was really like gonna trigger you. But again, if you guys notice anything, please put it in the comments and I'll pin your comment if it is triggering. But yeah, or if editing Kayla notices it, she could put it at the beginning as text on the screen. But yeah, thank you guys for watching so much. Do you have any other thoughts to say on the situation before we close out?
Honestly, not really. I mean, this kind of is a situation that happened to somebody else, so it's like a...
Well, thank you for watching again, and we'll see you in the next video when it gets sadly darker again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cheers. Thanks for watching.